In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote, "Sexual energy is creative power you're wasting on screens," and why pornography is stealing your life force. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. 3 things you'll learn today. Number 1, why successful men in dead bedrooms scroll instead of creating empires. Number 2, how sexual transmutation works, redirecting life force into art, business, and mission. And number 3, the 30-day test. What happens when you stop leaking energy to pixels? This is good. Really, the simplest way to break this down would probably be like a metaphor or analogy to a web. And when you consider all of those connections in a spider's web, you have to look at your life as in you are energy. Now, bear with me for a moment if you don't really flow with that identity. When you consider that you're energy, this is just as simple as look at how you feel when you get a good night's rest and when you don't. Now, of course, we have a physical body with organs and everything. Yes, we do. But the energy of your system matters. And what we're really looking at here is that you can feel when you're doing things that are draining you. You can feel it. And your sense of guilt or shame or regret, you do not need to judge yourself, but you do need to feel and be honest about the energy that is created when you do certain actions, right? It's not a coincidence. If you feel regret, that's a guideline. Your heart is a compass. Now, when you look at wasting energy, and specifically on pornography, this is why a lot of guys are so just numb and maybe don't walk around with a glow. Because the glow in life is as simple as what are you not doing? And when you stop wasting energy and destroying your body, your mind with certain things, then your life force, it compounds for you. So you look and you say, hey, I know this is hard. You don't need to handle it all yourself. You need to surrender and pray and somehow, some way, keep yourself doing things which do not allow for that sort of temptation to arise. And even that, you'll still notice temptation. But naturally, you'll go through and go through. You'll fail, you'll stumble, you'll fall, you'll hurt, you'll process, and then you'll get to this point where the thing which used to grip you, it's gripping you way less. It's basically gone. And then it is gone. And that takes it's a spiral. It's patience. It's commitment. It's faith. It's surrender. It's honesty. It's processing the pain that you create via low frequency action. So it's hard for me to make this just fully about sexual energy, but ultimately, if you look at an example, like let's say you see a beautiful girl and you notice you have this tendency to kind of always do something, whether it be talk about the girl if you're with your friends, or look at the girl, or give attention to that. I'm not saying you cannot be attracted to beauty. That is not at all the point. The point is that you are the creator of your life, in that when you just give your energy away mindlessly, then there are sort of repercussions for that. Now, don't fear, do not judge yourself, but kind of accept what you are when you do it, because you are the creator, the architect of your life. So feel and let yourself learn through feeling. Easier said than done, but it is very much in your power. And the cool part about it is the less and less you do these things, they just go away. When you fill your life with disciplines and commitment and devotion and faith, and you really surrender, and the only way that you can actually have the faith is by having the alignment. So your identity needs to change. It's not like just a forced behavior change, but you do have awareness of behaviors that bring you down. You pray and you work to shape your identity around something new, different, stronger. You fill your mind with those new things. And then ultimately you pair that addition of good with subtraction of the other. Basically, you replace. And sometimes your mind will get caught in these loops where it's like numb and it's lazy and it doesn't know what else it could do, but everything's right in front of it. So I'll give you some examples like notebooks and pens, whatever book it is that you want, but some form of a educational book and faith book. Have a multitude of books around you. Don't obsess over filling your mind with information, but rather use them as boundaries to prevent yourself from being mindless, aimless, self-sabotaging, right? When you fill your environment with those things and then you go into other environments with the right things, then you meet the right people while you're changing. So then you have good relationships with the right people, which make it easier to have good relationships with, right? You see, life really works in this snowball fashion, whether down or up. And it all starts with the emanations and vibrations that come from your heart. We are sending signals. You just can't see all the signals. The universe communicates to you through synchronicity because it's deeper than just plain logic. It's deeper than human mind language. And that's why this energy thing isn't just like, oh yeah, you're bad if you watch porn because it says you shouldn't in the Bible or something like that. It's more so about, well, first of all, I'm not refuting the Bible if it says that. I'm just saying, like, if I'm not here to make you feel guilty, I'm here to say you have the power to see this yourself and then feel if you may be guilty, right? I'm not the one putting the guilt on you. I'm just saying, hey, you may feel like that. And if you feel like that, then there's a reason because, I mean, I felt like that and I kind of understand, hey, the universe was communicating to me and we're both the same thing when you really get down into the nitty gritty rabbit hole. We are one thing. So, what I feel, I would understand you would feel because we're the same thing. Now, there's a lot of details, so you can't just go up and tell everyone that, right? But here, this is my space, so. Now, number two, or actually, now number one. Why successful men in dead bedrooms scroll instead of creating empires. This is like some fancy language. Forgive me. I use AI a little bit to help me do this stuff, make the plans. But what we're really looking at is if you have a man who is quote unquote successful, but in a dead bedroom, like that, first of all, that's a relationship disconnect. Now, if he doesn't have a partner, then I don't even necessarily love this point. We're going to map it and make it smooth though. When you waste your energy, it's definitely not going to help you build an empire. And the odds are you can be successful while wasting energy, but it's not like a real success. Or maybe it's a outward success, but your heart is just toughened. You know, maybe you forced your way through it and you're really feeling the consequences. A lot of people in life, they force their way through and they will power through and they get things that materially looks good, but then they end up getting all these diseases and things. I mean, anyways, you can get a disease even if you live a great energetic life, but ultimately, like a lot of people tend to force and then suppress, and then that energy trapped turns into dis-ease, and that's how you have younger people who have the things that everyone wants, but they're not happy, right? Because it's just a misalignment. So what I mean there is when you don't waste your energy and you create in alignment, then you have a real success with good relationships. And then you don't need to scroll. You can actually have a real communion with someone that is on the same level as you, that is committed, and it's like a true relationship. That can happen very much so. It's just people need to truly be at their best to be their best together. And if you waste your energy too much, then you will notice that there's this outlying of, or kind of like this bad taste in your mouth. You don't really know what it is, or this weight you're carrying that you're not aware you're carrying until you hit something, or until you trip, or until life pulls the rug out under you, and then you sort of see, oh, all right, yeah, dang, I was I was doing that, and I was doing that too. And the cool part about it is you change naturally. It's not like, oh man, you literally sometimes you just don't do things anymore. But to get to that point, oftentimes it takes a lot of doing something to then the universe give you the situation which actually fully just changes you. So that's kind of the nature of life, and it's not the easiest, right? Because there's a lot of moments, but life is in the moment. So there's this faith required to be present even when you can't control things. So you live in the moment, and yeah. Now let me look at point number 2. How sexual transmutation works, redirecting life force into art, business, and mission. Yeah, basically, what I was saying before preceded this in a healthy way, like leading into it. It basically, when you direct life force into the good stuff, then you lessen and lessen and lessen that draw, that pull toward the lower. And the real transmutation is basically a noticing and a decision that isn't really a decision. It's like you notice and you know so deeply that there's another way to move forward. And you let yourself find that way. You pray. You do everything you can to piece together the best actions in your life. You really work to create the perfect day every day. That's how you stop wasting your sexual energy. Your life has to be filled with all this. You cannot just get rid of an addiction to pornography by obsessing over stopping watching pornography. It has to be this understanding of, man, I'm doing this because of something. And if I can maybe make some changes in my life, we could potentially shake up that something. Yeah? It's not always super straightforward. Like I said, sometimes you have to go through the mud for a bit. Sometimes it just takes this patience and yeah. But when you really begin to have a life where the web analogy, I don't know if it was this episode or last episode, but we were talking about the web, and when everything in your life is connecting and it's meaningful and it works for you and it's charging, then that turns into something extraordinarily powerful. And your life force, it makes you glow, it makes you shine. The heart, it's doing what the heart's meant to be. It's being, actually. We're not human doings nor havings, but beings. And let's hop to point number 3, the 30-day test. What happens when you stop leaking energy to pixels? Really, I'm not saying do a 30-day test, but I am encouraging it for sure. I mean, if you can put yourself in that place of really living a life that you're powerful at your strongest, not just like 90, but fucking like 110. That's what happens when you stop. Like you could be at 80 before, but man, 110 to even 90 to 110, huge gap. 90 is not beating 110. And this isn't about competition or anything. I'm just saying, using these numbers to draw that space of like, all right, maybe you're doing pretty good right now, but dude, do you really know who you are? Do you really? Like maybe you say, yeah, I know who I am, and but this and that, I gotta do that first. And but seriously, when you sit and consider the impermanence of life, what you truly care about, the fact that you have the power within. What does that mean? It's an invitation today, right now, just to rewrite how you see yourself, to rewrite what you do, how you do it, and to let a new form of yourself emerge. Something, something fresh, something without all of the weight or pressure. A strong version which has an essence that is indescribable by language. That was always within you. It was never far away. It was just hiding, waiting for you to be. And that will be born when you do the work to simplify energetic understanding. So I really hope that's helpful. We'll do a recap today. The energy theft. Every time you waste sexual energy on pornography, you're taking power meant for creation and flushing it into a digital void. That's why you feel empty after. You just drained your life force for nothing. The transmutation principle. Sexual energy is the most powerful creative force you have. When contained and directed, it builds businesses, writes books, creates art. When leaked, it creates shame and emptiness. The reclamation. Stop giving your power to screens. Channel that energy into your mission, your partner, your purpose, and watch what happens when you stop leaking and start creating. Your sexual energy isn't just about sex, it's the raw material of creation itself. Stop wasting it on pornography and start building the life that energy was meant to fuel. Contain the power, direct the flow, create the empire. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Genuinely, thank you so much. Let's go.